right, guys, what's up? Welcome back
Welcome back.
to another episode of Why You Do This, episode 3.
Woo!
We're going to be talking about censorship on private platforms, First Amendment rights, mainstream media, and a little bit more.
A little bit more.
All right, let's get right into it. All right. Censorship.
Let's go.
Fucking Alex Jones. What do we know about him?
Well, I mean, not to start things off with a bias, but he's a pretty shitty person.
Right.
Like, immensely.
Right.
But he also has been taking to social media a lot for the past quite a few years now with just... He's a conspiracy guy,
right?
Is what it kind of boils down to. And a lot of his content is, from what I've seen, a lot of hate speech, a lot of fear-mongering, things like that.
Okay.
And finally, a lot of social media sites, everybody, I don't know if Twitter's banned him yet or not, but like YouTube and Facebook and stuff like that, they've all removed him and his channel.
Infowars. And what was the other one? It was something else wars.
It was some other thing.
News something I can't remember.
At any rate, they've removed all of that from their individual sites.
Right.
Because of all of the just outright hate speech that's been going on there.
So I went diving into the whole Alex Jones thing, and allegedly he was doxing some of Sandy Hook victims, saying that they were actors, and
yeah, so he went after a lot of not the parents, but like the actual students.
It was like bullying kids or
after
some
all of that happened, saying that they were crisis actors and things like that.
Right.
And, like, first of all, wrong place, guy. Like,
know your audience.
Even if they were, which I don't believe they were because I'm not a fucking mental patient.
Right.
But even if they were, all right, a bunch of kids just got shot.
Yeah.
Lay off.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth.
Right.
But yeah, so that's what's kind of started this whole thing. And then he was going to send a cease and desist letter to the families of all of these people who he was claiming were crisis actors because they were coming after him and ruining his image after he...
Oh, so now he's getting defamed and
yeah,
he doesn't like that.
Yeah, he's playing fucking sad boy about it because people are ganging up on him after he was the one spewing all of this garbage about all of these people. Like, so it's okay when you do it. Yeah, you fucking hypocrite.
Right. And so, you know, you're making a very valid point there with, you know, he's pretty out there, and you know, whether my political bias or anything that has to do with it, I can still see kind of crazy. If it looks like crazy, walks like crazy, it's probably crazy. And this guy, you know, I wouldn't necessarily call a lot of his content hate speech. I would say that he's pretty radical in some of his ideas.
Sure.
But not every single bit of his content is hate speech. Now, to go as far as banning him from social media sites, I get it, but this is strictly coming from a business standpoint. YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, these are all private businesses that are well within their legal right to restrict what content they allow on their site.
Yeah.
And But the thing is these platforms are so big now. Like, everybody uses YouTube. Everybody knows about YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So to have like some sort of intervention by the government would be I don't know. I wouldn't like it, but it's almost like if you don't agree with what YouTube or Facebook
Mm-hmm.
and those guys believe, they now have the power to completely shut you down, which it is well within their legal right to do.
Yeah, I mean they're their own platforms and things like that.
Right.
So it kind of boils down to, like,
If you don't like it, go somewhere else.
yeah,
Go make your own.
And the thing about it was that it took a lot for him to get banned from YouTube.
Oh yeah, he had several strikes against him.
Their first action, YouTube's first action against Alex Jones was they were going to permanently remove 4 of his videos, which, if that were like us, each one of those videos would have been their own strike.
Right.
But they were going to remove 4 videos in a lump sum of 1 strike.
Oh, so they cut him a deal.
Tried to.
And he was just like, no.
No, and so he just kept on going with the same fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
And then they finally removed him. The problem for YouTube was, and I can see it from a business standpoint, from YouTube's like business
Right.
portion of it, because I think his YouTube channel had like 2 million some odd subscribers or something like that.
Yeah, so it was a pretty big.
There's a fair amount of people that were consuming this content. Not people that I would want to hang out with,
No.
but people were consuming it, and that's the point for a video sharing
Right.
website. That's the idea.
Right.
So I can see why they were hesitant to pull somebody like that from.
Because it's
From the site.
making them money.
Well, exactly that, and I feel like YouTube is much more lenient on anybody who has a massive amount of subscribers, which makes sense.
Yeah.
But just look at the Pauls, or like anybody else who
Yeah.
has a ton of subscribers that post questionable content. That if it was like our channel, that's it.
Right.
Like, you're done.
Yeah, and it's this whole, and that's why we have the title the way that we have it, because I'm sure that they've got some sort of algorithm on Facebook.
I'm sure it's flagged.
That Alex Jones is going to be flagged. But if you look at, I was watching H3's podcast and
Sure.
they were covering this
Mhm.
earlier this week. They were doing a live stream on YouTube and they had like a couple thousand people watching. YouTube
Shut them down.
shut them down.
That's-
Like killed their broadcast. They weren't allowed to stream. They got a strike against them.
Cool.
And YouTube has their phone number. They know H3. And so they called him up and they're like, "Hey, what's going on? Like, why are we getting shut down? Like, we're not sitting here, we're not playing his content, we're not doing anything like
Don't
that.
have him in the studio
Yeah,
or anything.
we're bashing him."
Yeah.
And YouTube, obviously, they were like, "Oh, it's a mistake. We're sorry."
Yeah.
But it's coming down to, if you even talk about something like this.
It's hard to spread awareness on certain things when it's something like this, where if you have a tag in a video or in a post or something like that, it gets recognized by an algorithm, not a person.
Right.
There's no distinguishing that. It's immediately removed.
Right. We have too much reliance on technology to actually.
I mean, it makes sense to do it that way, though.
Yeah,
I
'cause
mean, can you imagine how many people you'd have to employ just to filter through everybody's garbage?
Yeah, it's the market's so saturated. So yes, you have to rely heavily on technology and using search engine optimization and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Looking for keywords like this, and it's just. It kind of sucks because creators are now physically seeing the ramifications of putting out content. If YouTube, I don't want this to spiral out of control, which I don't think it will, because, YouTube is a place for people to, are creative and want to put out content, and they want to make money, and YouTube makes money off of their creators, so they try to support them as best they can.
I think it has a long way to go before it reaches some kind of censorship threshold to where like everybody is afraid to post certain things about hot button issues on the grounds of it getting removed or demonetized.
Right.
I think we have a long way to go before we get to something like that.
Yeah.
But just the fact that you can get your content immediately banned or removed, or
not even your content, your entire image.
Yeah.
Like, you have built up this whole persona, this personality, and now it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there is no Alex Jones platform whatsoever. He has no way to speak. He has no way to express his ideas.
And it would bother me a lot more if like, okay, most of the things that this guy had to say were fucking awful.
Yeah, there was bullshit.
So, like, it's hard, at least from my point of view, to be like, yep, this is terrible. How could this freedom of speech right get revoked on this poor man?
Right.
When this dude is a fucking snake.
Yeah.
Like,
no, and it
some of the worst fucking type of people ever.
And I feel that, but it comes down to, at least in my opinion, I can definitely see where you're coming from, and I do believe Alex Jones is a fucking idiot and, spreads just garbage, hot garbage. But it does kind of scare me with these platforms being so big and so widely consumed that now a private business has the ability to censor what I'm saying and be able to extinguish my First Amendment rights. But granted, I did sign the community...
Everybody has to.
The community agreement, or community guidelines agreement.
I don't find that such an issue with YouTube, because it says right in the creator thing. I mean, we saw it when we signed up. Hate speech is not allowed. Like, that's one of the pillars. So, I mean,
and there's
I believe everybody has a right to create their own content and do whatever you want and put that up for everybody to see.
Yep.
But
you
got to follow the goddamn rules.
Especially on a platform as big as Alex, which, he had 2 million subscribers,
give or take.
Which, that's a lot. That's a lot of people that are consuming his content. But I feel like, if that's not overly big for YouTube.
No.
Look at PewDiePie with almost 65 million subscribers. Yep. And he's so big, but, he doesn't even curse on his channel.
Yeah, not anymore.
Like, he used to, but now he doesn't.
Yeah.
Not at all, because he's afraid of getting demonetized or getting any sort of...
I think YouTube has really buckled down a lot on their willingness to demonetize videos and things like that.
Yeah.
Which I think it would be nice to have a system in place to have, like, I mean, I understand it's an easy get around, but just having something pop up like, I am, this old or whatever.
Just an age restriction pop up?
Yeah, because, like...
You shouldn't be held liable for... Well, you should be held liable for what you say, but you should not be held liable for your viewers.
Well, exactly that. It's the same thing with, like, anytime anybody likes to complain about violence in movies, mm-hmm. or kids getting in to see R-rated movies or getting to play M-rated games or whatever.
Right.
You can't blame the people making the games for making the game.
Right.
It's not their fault. They made the game or movie or whatever. They made the content for a certain age bracket of people who are mature enough to handle what they're seeing and what they're exposed to. The biggest problem is the parents who give their kids an iPad and say, all right, here you go for an hour, be away from me and out of my hair.
So the way that breaks down on YouTube is there is an age restriction where we can say 18 and up.
Yeah, and I know that you, like, when you create an account and stuff like that, you put your age in and whatever. But
yeah, so if you don't have family friendly content, YouTube won't monetize you.
Sure.
And
Oh
that's
shit, we're fucked.
so we're riding a very fine line. Jake Paul goes out on his platform
Yep.
and starts saying what we're saying, he's going to get shut down fast.
Sure.
But his demographic is completely different than ours. Most
Agreed.
of our demographic are adults that are our age, maybe a little bit older, maybe a little bit younger.
Yeah.
Probably, I'd say
We're not peddling content for 6-year-olds.
yeah, we're peddling content between the ages of 18 to probably 30.
Sure.
I'd say that's our demographic.
That's pretty fair.
And
Except for Sunday Funday's Poop Podcast. That was like some 8-year-old type shit.
yeah, they'd get a kick out of that one.
At least we made somebody smile.
Hey, you know what? You gotta hunt the good stuff. But yeah, like with YouTube, being more strict about what they're monetizing, who they're monetizing, I feel like you're gonna start seeing more of the Alex Joneses kind of disappearing, which is a good thing. It's a good and a bad thing. It's a good and a scary thing, I should say.
I would say that type of content not being where everybody can readily consume it and kind of fuel that machine.
Right.
I'd say that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, content getting removed, and this doesn't have to do specifically with Alex Jones's stuff, because that clearly violated the rules, so it should have been removed. But
Right.
let's say you just make something about a hot button issue, but whoever owns that platform doesn't agree with what you have to say, and then that just gets removed. That kind of scares me a little bit. But it's their shit.
Right.
They have every right to remove it.
Yep.
So it's kind of like, it's like if I let you use my car
Mm-hmm.
and told you can't drive over 55, you can't smoke in there, and you can only roll the rear passenger window down, and you followed me exactly, but you spilled 4 sodas into it, and then I took it back from you and said, no, you can't use my fucking car anymore. You didn't necessarily break the rules that I set out, but you did something shitty in there, and I
Right.
didn't appreciate it.
Yeah. So there's a lot of gray area with this whole Alex Jones and other topics that are getting covered with these big private corporations that are screening the content based off their keywords and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of content that Alex Jones had out that wasn't breaking the rules. But from what you've said, that maybe YouTube tried to cut him a deal and say, hey, we're gonna remove 4 videos, give you 1 strike, and just stop. Pretty much a cease and desist.
Mm-hmm.
Stop being a dickhead. Stop doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
But we're gonna keep your channel up, and because we're still making money
Yeah.
off of you. And now they're just like, okay. He didn't break the rules on all these videos, but he did break the rules on these 4. You're done.
Sure.
You're done. If you're gonna continue to put out this garbage content, we're gonna shut you down.
Yep.
And they did.
Which I can respect them standing by their word, but I feel like that they wouldn't have done it if not for all of the public outrage, because that's what initially got him banned off of Facebook and things like that.
Yeah.
Was a lot of the backlash he was getting from the public. Rightly so,
Right.
I would say. But that's another thing with all of the censorship and everything that's going on right now that bugs me personally, is that everybody, if the hive mind of what's going on in society doesn't agree with an idea or an opinion, that is immediately attacked.
Right.
Now, as far as Alex Jones's opinions go, I mean, whatever. I don't think society's really missing a whole lot from that level of extremity.
Right.
But you see it in a lot of other stuff too. Comedy, for example. Like, you see a lot of people saying, well, you can't do that. Like, I didn't appreciate that joke or something like that. That offended me.
Right.
And everybody rallies behind that person. Anybody who is on this social justice warrior crusade and attacking these people, attacking these creators, these comedians, what have you, because they don't agree with that and they want an apology and that you don't say that anymore.
Yeah.
You have every right to say that. First of all, it's a joke. Second of all, I feel like most of the time a lot of that is taken out of context.
A lot.
If any of it actually makes it to like a news outlet, 100% it's taken out of context. And like, I know Bill Burr has had issues with it. I know Chris D'Elia has had issues with it. I'll bet you can name a comedian and they've had issues with their jokes getting taken out of context.
Yeah.
But they'll all tell you too that comedy bits look terrible written down.
Oh, definitely.
All of the showmanship is out of it.
Yeah.
But it's that type of stuff. That's what freaks me out more than the private companies taking down videos and content and stuff like that. It's the fact that the public can pressure these massive companies into doing whatever they want based on a hive mind idea.
Yeah. And, you know, it kind of sucks. But at the same point in time, it's the people that are fueling their pockets.
Exactly. And that's what it's all about, is just money.
And, you know, a lot of it comes down to us, like, even, you know, talking about these news outlets, right? So, like, the two big ones in this country, Fox and CNN.
Sure.
Maybe MSNBC, but even CNN is bigger than that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And you know, I know people that are hard Fox watchers. That's the truth. I know people that are CNN watchers. That's the truth for them.
Yep.
Me, an intellectual,
a reasonable fucking person,
would watch one or read an article on one, read an article on another. The things that overlapped, probably the truth.
Or just, I feel like people as consumers of news media and stuff like that have gotten so lazy now. Yeah. Especially in the last 5 years, I'd say.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, you watch one thing, you hear what the talking heads have to say about it,
And that's the truth.
And that's it. And you run with that, and you spread that, which is exactly what those medias want.
Right.
But it makes for pretty ill-informed people when you don't do any outside research on your own. You take somebody else's reporting as gospel, because why would they want to lie to me? Which is a shitty defense.
Well, yeah, like, you look at what's going on now.
Mm-hmm.
A couple days ago, there was a homegrown terrorist camp found in New Mexico. The only reason I found out about it was I was scrolling through a military blog or something like that, and I just happened to see it, and I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. So I went and I dug a little deeper, right? And so this guy from, I believe, Georgia, his son was ill, and he was supposedly doing, I can't remember what the Arabic term for it was, but people misunderstood it as him doing an exorcism. So obviously this guy's like, probably not in the right mindset, but it got misconstrued in the media. I don't know what media outlet. I can't remember if it was. I believe it was more conservative because it was more radical in whatever. And so they took it and ran with it. They're like, oh, this crazy Muslim guy is, gonna go perform an exorcism on his 4-year-old child, when actually what the Arabic term meant was he was gonna pray for him to get better. And I'm not a spiritual guy, but that's
Harmless.
yeah. Now what he did in New Mexico was fucked up.
Yep.
So there's a training camp where these kids, they weren't bathing, they weren't fed, they were supposedly just a homegrown terrorist organization.
The Boy Scouts of America.
Yep. the shitty Boy Scouts. And so, like, I wanted to see what the major news outlets were covering.
Sure.
Neither of them, well, Fox was covering it as a completely different thing. CNN wouldn't touch it.
Why do you suppose that is?
Because they were Muslim. And CNN is a more liberal organization. They did not want to be viewed as a Islamophobic whatever.
Okay.
They gave it 15 seconds of coverage.
Yeah, that seems legit.
That's not the appropriate amount of coverage that you
for a terrorist camp in New Mexico.
Yeah. No. Fox News, however, gave it a little more coverage, but guess what it was about?
The crazy Muslims.
The crazy Muslims. Not the fact that they were training people to commit shootings and bombings
in New Mexico.
In New Mexico, but crazy Muslim guy performs exorcism, child dies, buries on site, people there, bunker. I'm like, please.
And all of it is just to serve an agenda. Every headline you see on either one of them is just to serve an agenda, and it's so fucking garbage. It's not about people being informed anymore. It's not what the news is about.
Whatever political party wants you to hear what they want to hear.
Well, exactly, and it's panhandling to your base is all it is.
Yeah.
And that's what you see with, like what you were saying with the Fox News coverage. Crazy Muslims. Man, can't remember the last time I heard somebody who was a hardcore conservative say one good thing about somebody who was Muslim. And CNN not covering it, well, fucking A.
That's
do
just
your
as
goddamn job.
That's just as bad.
Yeah, for sure. Like, do your job.
Right.
You're the news.
This is news. This is big news.
What this fucking dog did at the dog park and how it befriended somebody else and a cat smelled some lady's cancer. Sorry, that's not fucking news.
Right.
That's not terrorist activity going on in New Mexico.
And this isn't the only time it's happened.
Oh,
there
no
was
way.
a couple years ago in New York, there was one that they found out about.
Didn't hear about it at all, matter of fact.
Yep. Would have known if I didn't go digging.
That one flew right over the news, I guess. They were sleeping that day. Everybody had the day off.
Yep. But, it's just like these media outlets are not covering what they needed to cover. And granted, they're not global organizations, which they are. They are.
At this day and age, yes.
They're a global organization.
Every asshole has a phone, thinks they're a news anchor.
But I can understand, like, all right, we're going to cover shit that's a little bit closer to home. But we don't want to cover something in New Mexico because there's Muslims involved. Or we want to cover it a lot, but miss the point.
Only because there's Muslims
involved.
Only
because there's Muslims. And I cannot get behind that. I can't do it.
It's all just garbage. Like, nothing that actually needs to be reported on is reported on anymore. And it's the same. You see it the same thing, both sides, especially with the election. It's just CNN says all of this is bad. Fox News says no, all of this is good, and it's just a back and forth of the same shit every day. It's like they both found their horse and they just beat it to death until there was nothing left, and they're still going.
Yep.
How about you actually report on something that's worth reporting on?
like fucking Bangladesh.
Like, yeah. For example, haven't seen one goddamn mainstream media news story on it at all. For those of you who don't know, so Bangladesh was having a bit of rioting issues and protest issues, kind of similar to a censorship issue like we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So Bangladesh is one of the top countries for traffic deaths in the world.
To be factual, there's been almost 2,500 deaths in 2018.
There was, I think, 4,000 last year.
Yep.
In the capital.
Of Dhaka.
And that's it. That's just the capital. 4,000 traffic deaths.
That's outrageous.
Okay? So what this whole ordeal stemmed from was, I can't remember, was it 2 little girls or was it just...
It was 2 students.
2 students got ran over by some guy driving a bus.
Yep. So this guy was racing another bus to get fares, to get more bus fares. And he crashed into the bus station. And it wasn't just these 2 people that got killed. There was like 7 people that got killed.
Oh, okay.
But now the protest is because there was 2 students there, and this keeps happening.
So the protests, which were all peaceful and by all law merits legal, consisted mainly of students.
Yep.
From ranging grades and things like that in the capital. So they protesting in the streets against these traffic deaths, wanting tighter regulations. From what I understand, you can get a driver's license for a pack of cigarettes in fucking Bangladesh.
Well, the thing is these people that are, driving around, half of them don't have driver's licenses. There's police officers that don't have driver's license.
Which is maddening. Like, these are the people who are supposed to be keeping you safe. And, well, they'll keep you safe as long as they're not parked on you.
Right.
So, these students are taking to the streets. They're pressuring the current political office to try and pass legislation to make it harder to get a driver's license, to make things safer on the road for everybody, which kind of a win-win,
Right.
I'd say. But there is the large group of people that back the current political office took it upon themselves to go into the streets, into these protests, and literally beat the shit out of these kids with anything they could find. Metal pipes. They were stealing cameras off of people to keep them from posting things on social media, to keep the issue quieted down.
Right.
And just all of this stuff trying to censor everything that was going on over there. And that to me is just mind-blowing. There was... Reporters were getting followed back into their cars. They were getting their cameras taken. They were getting their equipment taken. They were getting harassed in the streets.
Right.
They were getting the shit beat out of them.
Right.
And all of this is going on, and it's not getting any coverage anywhere, at least in the U.S.
Yeah. And so I was reading a little article. It was an interview with the current, I don't even know what to call the leader.
I don't know if she's a president or what.
Whatever. The current government leader over in Bangladesh. And the article read as such that she believed that the opposing government party was infiltrating into these student peaceful protests and inciting the violence. That's what she believed.
Sure.
So now her hands are washed because it's another political party.
Oh, it wasn't my people. It
No,
was their people.
It was their people, and now my people are supporting me by fighting back. And I'm just like, really? You're going to play into that 5-year-old mindset? Well, she started it, or he started it.
It's their fault, not me.
Yeah, and that is complete and utter bullshit.
Do you want to know what's super fucked about that whole thing, though? They shut down mobile internet to keep people off of social media. Did you read that?
No. I did not.
Shut it down.
Really?
There was no fucking like internet on your phone in the whole country, or at least in the capital.
Jesus Christ.
Shut it down so that it couldn't get any further out.
Hear no evil, see no evil.
Nothing's going on over here. Do not look over here, please.
Yeah.
Do not look behind the green curtain. Pay no mind.
Right.
Fucking A. Like, that's like North Korea-ish type shit.
Well, and the thing is like, you see that. You see that around the world, and you know, it kind of makes me, you know, thankful that we live in a country where we do have the First Amendment, where we can talk freely against the government.
More or less.
Protest. Yes. Do people get hurt? Yeah, with the whole Antifa shit, whatever was going on earlier. Yeah, people get hurt, but, you know, there's dumb people on either side, and it gets misconstrued. But 90% of the protests that are going on are peaceful. They have, they're organized.
Yep.
They're structured. Nothing happens. The cops are usually there to protect them from getting hurt, just in case.
Mm-hmm.
But that never gets any media coverage. You've got shit going on here in Bangladesh where they're trying to completely censor it, and nobody's covering it. Not even here.
No, and that's what blows my mind is this is such a blatant attack on people's right to
Be alive.
to protest, to be safe, to feel
Right.
safe walking down the street.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a blatant attack on everybody's right to be safe, and I just don't understand how. And I get it. I don't think that America needs to be the world's police or anything like
No.
that. Not by any stretch of the imagination. But
Fuck.
people should know what's going on.
Yeah. Like,
Jesus Christ, like there's people getting fucking the shit kicked out of them in the street for taking a picture. Like, it's insane. I wish I would have. I came across a thread on Reddit. There was this guy who was taking pictures of the protests and things like that, and he got swamped
Really.
by people, and they fucking hit him with a pipe and the whole
Jesus
nine. Yeah, like
Christ.
smoked this dude and tried to take his camera, but he wouldn't let it go. That's why they hit him. And then finally some of the student protesters were able to get to him, because these guys that are going around
they're
busting
just
people
swarming
up, they're only going after individuals.
Oh, okay.
They're not going into any larger groups. As soon as there's more than like 4 or 5 people, they move on.
Yeah.
They're only going after individuals, and individuals with cameras or anything like that, or with their phones out and trying to take pictures of them. And it's
They're hunting in packs.
like these radical people that are going after these students, like, it's crazy. Just the expressions on their faces and stuff, like this is pure just hate.
It brings up, like, you know who did this? You know who fucking did this?
Who?
How about the Nazi Party?
Yeah. Same deal.
Not so much a political group or people protesting, but they singled out a group of people,
Mm-hmm.
and they had government backing individuals go around, beat the shit out of them, destroy their fucking property, and there was no ramifications.
It feels so mafia-esque to me.
It's such a fascist fucking...
Like, it blows my mind that this type of thing is going on, and that it's hardly anybody knows about it.
But, you know...
This is setting things so far back from where I felt that I understand that there's a lot of oppression in the world, a ton. But women in Saudi Arabia are still property, for God's sake.
Yeah.
But, like, I just feel like all we're doing is taking steps backwards.
You know, it's hard to see because, we have to look.
Yeah.
We have to look and seek out this content because there is no mainstream media outlet covering it. But if Donald Trump tweets something, there is hour-long conversations about it.
Yeah. Oh, LOL, look at the shit I just took, and it's with a $100 bill in the toilet. Like, better tune into this. This is what's really interesting today.
Not fucking kids getting beaten up in the streets of Bangladesh for saying, hey, I don't want to get hit by a car anymore.
Yeah, getting run over kind of sucks.
Yeah.
You're a shitty person. Please don't hit me with your car.
Right. And I cannot believe that's actually going on.
It's insane.
It's maddening.
I don't get it. I can only just... And it sucks because with that type of thing, there's literally nothing that we can do. I mean, what are we going to do? Send a dollar over there or start a bullshit charity? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
There's literally nothing that we can do except sit here and talk about it, try and spread awareness.
And that's what we can use our platform for.
I guess.
That's what, if you guys take anything away from this,
consider yourself marginally informed.
Not saying that we're scholars by any means, but if you see something come across your Facebook feed, and there's a lot of people that will post stuff like that's a little out there, and I'm guilty of it. I scroll right past it sometimes. But if you see something that sparks your interest,
read
it. Spread the word, because I guarantee our mainstream media will not cover it. And if they do, it'll be so short that...
It'll be 5 seconds in between what the president had for lunch and what some cat did in Florida.
Yeah. I don't know.
Fucking mental.
Kind of end things on a little bit lighter note. I honestly thought that was a really good conversation.
That was good. That was off the fucking deep end of negativity, but yeah, what do you got?
We've got a dash cam from one of the drivers in Bangladesh.
Oh, do we?
Yes, we do.
Brutal.
I hope you guys enjoy it.
Buckle up.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Sharp right. Fast, sharp right. Sharp right. Sharp right. Listen. Sammy, you have to listen to my call, Sammy. Please, I beg you. Fast, medium right. You have to turn the wheel, Sammy. 40, fast, medium left. 50, downhill, triple caution. Triple caution, stay center. Triple caution, stay center. Whoa. Concentrate, Sammy, please. Medium left, long. Turn in. Medium left. Medium, nice and easy. Turn. Throttle. Fast, medium left, long. In. Medium right, concentrate. Medium left. Listen to my calls. Medium left into sharp left. You're not concentrating, Sammy. You're watching out and driving. Sammy, you have to listen, Sammy. Otherwise, it will not work, Sammy. Seriously, you are watching and driving. You have to be easy, Sammy. Otherwise, we won't win. You have to be easy, Sammy. I'm telling you, you are not listening.
Shut up,
No, I'm just your advice, Sammy. Into double caution jump. No, stay on the road. Sammy, please. Sammy. Fast, medium right. Listen to the call. Sammy, please listen to the call. Sharp.
Yikes. There's some hairy driving out there.
Apparently, Samir is trying to get his driver's license over in Bangladesh.
Tell you what, that course looks like a doozy.
I mean, I'm not one to talk that I'm the greatest driver ever, but that's ridiculous. He's not listening to his
Oh,
calls.
you got to listen to my calls, Samir.
And he's breaking the car.
You can't drive it if it's broken.
I mean, you can't. Well, anyways, guys, it's been great having you on the show once again.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out and thanks for joining us. Hopefully you learned something, or I don't know.
Yeah, really. We hope you guys took a little bit away from this podcast this week. If you liked it, head on over to our YouTube channel. If you missed any portion of it, I know you guys kind of came on a little bit later, but you can watch the entire podcast front to back on on our YouTube channel, Ridiculously Insensitive.
There you go.
Hey, and I mean, that's all we got.
We would have had a SoundCloud thing for you guys today, but yeah, YouTube's kind of fucking us.
Yeah, so we actually got 3 copyright strikes
Starting off good.
on 4 videos that we have out. So we're, already on our way to
getting banned.
getting Alex Jones and completely deplatformed.
Fucking chopped.
Yep. But
So we'll figure something out for. We still want to do something like that, but we probably won't be able to play any music for you guys. So we're working on it. We'll get a bit together for it or something.
and if you guys have any suggestions of local artists that we can get permission from, that we don't have to worry about the copyright, that would be great.
Or just somebody you want to plug. Whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
That's good.
All right. Anyways,
I'm good.
let's get the hell out of here.
All right, dude.
Thanks
Let's
guys
go.
so much.
Bye.
We're out.